Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
So what's going on YouTube, D546? I wanted to introduce a new part to this channel, which will be weekly film sessions, which I had last year. But these film sessions will go on along with the other film sessions. And if we can really get the all 22 soon, that would be perfect. But these film sessions will go in tangents with our own from the last week. And I want to review the opposite team that we're going to play that next week. I want to review their film, talk about what their strengths are, and talk about how I think we can attack that. So I'm excited about that. And before we get into this, definitely leave a like, leave a comment telling me that you want to see more film sessions under this kind of genre. But before we get to any of this, I want to give a quick word from our sponsor, BetQL. They were actually able to get me the camera, the new camera for this channel, and I think you guys should definitely check them out. Want to get an advantage over your sportsbook? You need to download BetQL. Their best bets algorithm scans over 350,000 bets per year to give you a best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports with reason why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from spreads to over-unders to player prop bets. Don't want to use the model? They've got you covered with sharp data so you can see who the pros are backing and line movement so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time. They've got team summaries highlighting previous success against the spread and over-under with breaking news on lineups and injury status. Obviously, that helps with fantasy. And you can track how your past bets have done and where you rank on leaderboards. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download BetQL. You can also head to try.betql.co/Diggy to get started now. Enter code Diggy at checkout to get 25% of all of their subscriptions. All of this information can be found in the description, where you can also find their BetMGM offer that'll get you a free year of BetQL. If you live in an eligible state, you'll find free offers for your favorite sports books. I won't tell if you click that bell, but I will tell if you miss out on this opportunity with BetQL. So we all know that the Broncos are a very defensive heavy team. Now, we don't have all 22, but they have a wealth of talent there in the secondary. I really wish I had the footage to break that down, but I don't. So they have a lot of talent in that secondary. They probably are one of the few teams that I could say may be better than the Giants in the secondary. And I think a lot of people kind of underestimate the Giants secondary. But I do think that the Broncos actually have an argument for being better than the Giants secondary for what they have back there. But I think the biggest issue that we'll deal with this upcoming week, especially if we're not able to play sound defense early and stop them from getting up, is going to be these two edge rushers. Now, I'm going to throw an image on this screen. And as you can see, the Broncos on the left with Bradley Chubb and Von Miller are ferocious. The Broncos with these two are absolutely ridiculous. And the Broncos without these two, or just missing one of them, it's a whole different story. Now, I thought that Von Miller may have been getting a little bit older, maybe take a step back. But from what I've seen these last couple of weeks in preseason, he didn't take any steps back. He still looks like the same guy. And Bradley Chubb, coming off the injury a little while ago, looks just as good as he always has. And then on top of that, you have a great defensive coordinator that can send in blitzes like the blitz I'm going to show you right here. So this is essentially, we're going to just watch this from different angles. This is actually a time where Bradley Chubb really isn't, his responsibility is to sort of get this tackle out of the way. You want this tackle not paying attention to this linebacker that's going to swoop inside and really apply that pressure. And he actually does a great job of beating this block. But Bradley Chubb his lane is just the outside. So if Bradley Chubb is going to the outside, you better believe it that this tackle is going to make a beeline for the outside to not give that up. Von Miller just does his regular freaky turning of the corner and gets a lot of pressure as well. But this is what happens when you mix great edge talent with great defensive scheme and exactly what I hope Azeez Ojulari and Zimenez and Lorenzo Carter can turn into for us. But that might be wishful thinking, but the Broncos have got it working out right now. So this is their preseason game just last week, and I'm just going to let this play again. And I stopped it right here just because I want you all to see this blitz. Because Bradley Chubb took the outside, this tackle has no idea what's going on inside of him. The running back's responsibility, of course, is to pick up this linebacker, but he's a running back, so doesn't do that well. And meanwhile, you have the interior defensive lineman shedding his guy, and you have Von Miller about to really do what Von Miller does. So let's let this play. And you just basically have penetration from everywhere. Bradley Chubb did his job on this play. People will say he didn't get pressure, but Bradley Chubb did exactly what he was supposed to do, which is just attack the outside and open up that lane for his inside linebacker. And you do not want these kinds of things happening to the New York Giants because we have a quarterback that has a history of ball security issues. Now, he did do a little bit better with it, but we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's this entire game. And we're going to have to really establish the run. And I thought that establishing the run would be a little bit easier, but I'm going to show you some tape pretty soon that shows that they're also not a slouch against the run, especially to the outsides. So I was actually able to kind of sneak a little bit of all 22 from, the land of Twitter to get a couple of these plays. But Von Miller is just an absolute dynamic monster in everything that he does. So you're just going to see Von Miller pretty much just slap this guy's hands out of the way and basically just make a beeline for the running back. I mean, it's really a poor attempt at blocking the guy, but you'll just watch him just slap the hands, boom, backfield. Really simple stuff. And as you watch this, do you see a cutback lane? Maybe, but 45 looks like he might have it plugged. You got 22. Also in the second gap. So there's not much. And once the running back has the ball, of course, there's nowhere for him to go. So there's not really a cutback. You have penetration from the interior. You have it from the exterior. And that's pretty much what happens. So the Broncos have still flash that they can stop the run a little bit. And this is another play from Von Miller, which is I just love to watch edge play. The most disciplined edge rushers are really just a treat to watch play. And you're just going to watch Von Miller attack and not be too aggressive. Now, this is probably a play he can just make by just running everything down. And it's a play he could have made faster. It could have been a big highlight play. Maybe even, maybe he could even take the handoff or, cause a big play that way. But what Von Miller does is exactly what he's supposed to do. He's unblocked coming off of the line. So if he's unblocked, he realizes that he has to kind of camp out right here to make sure that nothing fishy happens, no cutbacks, no nothing crazy comes there. Because when you leave a guy unblocked, this guy is usually coming to come clean things up. So Von Miller is going to squeeze to make sure that he can't get down that way. And he's ultimately just going to make the play because no one blocks him and he's already back there. So you're just watching him just get into the backfield, kind of wait to see. He sees no one's pulling. I mean, he's completely unblocked and no one's pulling. At this point, this is a blown assignment. And I don't know. I mean, this is the preseason, mind you. But to call it a double team on the D tackle and to leave Von Miller unblocked and you think that he can't run down this inside zone, I doubt it. Or this isn't actually an inside zone. But to think that he can't run this down is really weird to me. So this is a very light film session. I just wanted to just talk pretty quickly about what Von Miller brings to the table, mostly him. Bradley Chubb, of course, is also going to be ferocious on the other side. But I think it all starts with Von Miller, to tell you the truth. And we have got to account for him. We got Nate Solder, just been named the starting right tackle. We got to hope that he comes to play. Matt Parrott, if he gets in there and they rotate, he's got to come to play. I see us sending tight ends over there to help with the chip. I see us running away from him because I think at this point, Von Miller might be a little bit better against the run than Bradley Chubb. But we have got to make sure I've shown plays where the defensive tackles have have gotten pressure, have gotten up the field. But we got to make sure that all of our runs, or a good amount of our runs, are going, up the A gaps, up the B gaps, preferably, and just make sure that we are not giving these guys chances to control the game. I would think that Andrew Thomas is a really good run blocker, so if we decide to run off tackle, I'll run off of Andrew Thomas's side. I wouldn't even try the right side. I mean, maybe you have to do it to keep honest, but I'm thinking that the Giants need to establish the run early, establish the run often, because if we get in a situation where they can send blitzes like that first play I showed you, we're not going to be able to put up too many points. Our tackles are going to be left hanging out to dry. And at that point, you're exposing your quarterback to a lot of punishment. So those are my thoughts. And once again, thank you to our sponsor, BetQL, the only app you will need to beat your sportsbook. Find their information along with the 25% off discount code in the description of this video. Also, check out the special Bet MGM offer in the description in order to receive a free year of BetQL and other sportsbook sign-up offers and bonuses. First week game preview coming tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.